Hello friends, this is Cara-Renee with B.Reborn Art and Healing, coming to you with another tutorial. I have my warm tea. I don't usually drink creamer in my tea, but it's a cool Saturday afternoon and I thought I would come on in here and do some crafting. It's been kind of a strange week, so haven't had a lot of time in here, so I'm catching up on the weekend. So we're going to make these, what did I call them? Magic Pole large pockets. So I've made these before, but I made them small, and I followed a video, I believe it was Anne over at WhichCraftDoYouDo. Witchcraft meaning witchcraft, not witch as in creepy witch. WhichCraftDoYouDo. Did in a small fashion, and I thought I would go ahead and try to make them a little bit bigger. Then when I did the prototype, I thought, why not make this into a pocket? I didn't on the prototype, but I'm going to in the other two that we're going to make on camera. So the pull is here. So you pull this up, and this ribbon is tucked under the pocket. So it just pulls out, and then you just slide it back in, and you've got this cute little pull that sticks up out of the top. I put a couple of circles that are glued together, an eyelet, some seam binding, and a couple of charms to just make it pretty, because that can just flip over there and be really, really sweet. So we're going to make these. I think this is going to go in the Sweet Yvonne journal. I know she's going to love it. But it will be glued down probably, and be a tuck of some kind. I didn't measure this. I should probably measure it for you. I did this about a week ago, so I'm hoping that my memory is not too bad. So that's 5 inches wide by 8 and just a little bit over 8 inches, just not quite 8 1/8. So you do want to make them to fit in your journal. This will fit in my journal, in the Sweet Yvonne journal, without any problem. So that's what we're going to do. And so I've got my corner rounder, I've got my small circle punch. I can't remember the size of this one. Let me see. I'm always questioning that. I think I can measure this here. Or is that smaller? Looks like it is, I don't know why this one doesn't say. 3/4 of an inch. So we've got that. Vintage photo archival ink, my Fabri-Tac, and my white glue, which is Barely Arts. Got some seam binding for this first one, so I'm going to set the second one. Well, let's do the bigger one first, because I think it'll be easier to show you on a bigger scale. So they're going to be 2 different sizes. Got some, this is the seam binding for this one. This is just some lace potentially for the pocket, and a little bit of decorative lace that I coffee dyed and inked with some acrylic inks, I believe, back a while ago. Let me see if I can get this off of here without wrecking it. And so I've got a couple of cards that can go on the inside. I'm not sure if I really love all these flowers that I picked. Now that it's a week later, we'll see. And so there, and I think actually one that I tucked over here is actually supposed to go in this one. I'm not sure. We'll see. So what I did on this one, you can do it kind of in a tri-fold fashion where you have it folding over and meeting in the middle here on the back. But it's just as easy to just fold your digital in half, depending on what you want to have show. So I did double back these just because I don't want that inside to be white. So I'm just going to fold this in half, and I'm going to hope I remember everything that I did on the prototype. I'm just going to get my bone folder and crease that out. And I prefer this one to be well, I guess it could go this way, because that's the other thing. So when you're deciding if you want to just fold it in half, if you like this side better, but it's opening over here, it's not a big deal which side it opens, because it's not going to open on a side. We're going to glue that, and it's going to open on the top. So it's not a problem at all. And I prefer, in this case, I prefer the woman on the front. This could also be a floating kind of piece, so it could be paper clipped in, and then you could have the visibility of both of those images on the same piece. So what we're going to do now is, I forgot completely to get out my scoreboard. Goodness gracious. I'm out of sync with myself here. So let me just get this busyness out of my way. Open this baby up. And so what we're going to do is let's measure what it is before we fold in the edges at all. So this currently is measuring 5 3/8. So that's definitely too wide for a journal, but I think we'll be okay to leave it 5. Let's just leave it 5 1/4. So that means we will go in about 1/4 of an inch with our folds, and that's going to make more sense here in a second. So this is the side that's going to fold over. Gosh, I cannot remember how I did this. Let's just see what we can make happen here. So I'm lining this up on my 1-inch line, just the edge of the paper, and I'm going to score in about 1/4 of an inch. It doesn't have to be precise, not a big deal. So I'm just gonna get that in there. Oh, not a half, 1/4 of an inch right there. I'm going to do it twice because I'm working on 65-pound paper. And then I'm going to do the same on the bottom. So I'm going to score all across the bottom. Make sure you're scoring the bottom and not the top. I had to just do a second glance there. Make sure I was oriented in the right direction. And then we'll go ahead and score this one. We may cut off this extra edge. I'm not sure right at the moment, but I'll give you the dimensions once we get everything folded up so that you guys have a little bit better direction. So I do want to give you an update really quick because I know some of you have, well, many of you have expressed your concern and prayers over the situation with my ex-son-in-law. I heard from my daughter last night. It looks like he was able to breathe on his own yesterday for about 9 hours, and he's been on a ventilator ever since the accident happened. So he's doing better. They're hoping to get him off the ventilator completely today, and I sent her a message, but I have not heard back. So he is doing better, thankfully. Do not want those children to be without their father. So yeah, crazy situation. Really complicated, you know. It's always complicated when there's, you know, ex situations involved and new husbands in the picture, and it's all good. It's all healing, and it's all gonna be fine. So, okay, so then what you do, we're just gonna fold this on that fold and see how wide we are now. Okay, and so that's fine. It's about just barely over 5 inches, as you can see there. So we're going to be good with that. So now we don't actually need this piece or this piece, because we're gonna, well, let's make sure we're doing it the right way. I mean, it doesn't really matter, but I think I'll go ahead and cut off this edge. So I'm sorry, that was very confusing. So this is the side I want to have be up front. So I'm going to open it. I want to cut off this edge that we folded over and this edge just to this point. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to grab my fussy cut scissors. Oh, hopefully they're not out in the living room. Fussy cut scissors, where are you? Oh my goodness, they're not here. Oh, there they are. They got put in the wrong thing. Imagine that. Okay, so I'm just going to cut on that folded line there. Okay. And then I'm going to go ahead and open this and use my big scissors to cut along that line. You do want to cut because that score makes a funny edge there. So I'm going to cut on the inside of that score line. And I think I did this different in the prototype, but you know, it doesn't matter how you get there, as long as you get there. So, oh, and I just cut that too far. Man, oh man, what the what? It's okay. There we go. Get that out of the way. So now we can fold this over. That little cut that I did that was too far is not going to matter. Does not matter. So we're going to fold that back in, and we do want to cut this, miter this corner, because obviously that's not going to fold very well. So we're just going to cut across that whole bit, meeting at the corner, and then kind of turn it a little bit. And then I'm going to take a moment and ink this up, and I will be right back. Okay. You do probably also want to kind of trim this corner, kind of angle it just so that none of that sticks out of there. So I'm just going to cut a little bit off there like that. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and get this back in place, and we're going to glue this close. And the reason why this helps is because it gives you a little bit more room in your pocket. Similar to how you'd make a pocket where you would do that on both sides and the bottom, get a little bit more bang for your buck. So I'm going to use my Bearly Arts. So I'm just going to run a bead of glue here. Hopefully it's going to play nice. We woke up this morning and it was going to be beautiful out, but it's getting cooler and cooler, and there's supposedly another winter storm coming. Hoping that they're wrong and that we don't have more school closures, because we're already extending out into the summer, we've had 4 snow days, so it cuts into our summer break. So I'm just going to tuck that under there like that and close her up. Okay, give that a good press, hoping that I remember everything that I did. And there we go. We could have inked that afterwards. So let me just make sure that's all well inked. We need to get this edge here just a little bit heavier there. I think I may have this be a floating piece. I'm not sure which one I'll put in my reference journal, but we'll decide that later. Okay, so there is our... I didn't make a piece for the... Goodness, one of the most important pieces of this project is you have to have a card, right? So you want your card to be almost as well, about that wide. So see how I only have a little bit on either side, but you don't want it to be, you want it to be slightly shorter as well. So I completely missed the mark on that. So I'm going to pause. I'm going to pause the camera for a moment, and I'm going to grab a piece of paper that we can use for the card that goes on the inside. One moment. I think I actually would like to just use this lace page. This is a cut off from something else that I made, so I think I want to trim off these edges and cut off the excess off the other side. Hope that's making some sense. This paper here is from Chapter 1 Papers. It's from her Vintage Lace kit. Really, really beautiful. I use them a lot. Have been using them a lot for quite some time. So we're going to probably have to cut again. I don't know why I'm making this so much more difficult than it needs to be, but hence I am. So I'm just going to line it up here to the side, and I'm going to mark it on this side and cut off the excess off that side, as I mentioned before, just because I want more of this kind of shabby bit here. So, and then we can also go ahead and mark the bottom and cut it at the same time. So again, you want it to be slightly shorter, because when you put that ribbon in, or that seam binding or whatever you're using, it's gonna pull up a little bit, and so you want that, you want it to clear that. Oh, so that means I do want to go, I want to go down a little bit here. So I'm going to make a mark here and here to make it a little bit shorter. So I'm going to just trim this up real quick, and I'll be right back. Okay. There we go. Sorry about that. I don't know. I probably did that with the other one too. But that's okay. So now what you're going to do is, well, let's ink this up because we want to have this nice and ready to go. It is already has coffee dyed paper on the back, so I can just ink this up and have it ready to go. Of course, you don't have to ink, whatever is what you prefer, do that. Okay, so, oh, I didn't do the back. Let's just get it finished here. This is a background paper from Ruby and Pearl's Beautiful Birds kit, and I'm really enjoying using it for backing my digitals. So, okay, so now we need, and the seam binding that I picked, I'm not really feeling it. So let me see what I have here for the stuff for the inside. I'm actually feeling like it would be kind of cool to bring in to go ahead and use the blue seam binding that I have for the other one. So basically what you want to do, just get a bunch here, and so what's going to happen is, let me get my prototype over here so I can talk with you, is you're going to actually glue this to the front of the pocket, okay, and we'll try to be as minimal there as we can because her head is right there, and then you want enough of a length to go into the pocket, so I'm just going to move that to go into the pocket, down, and then back up. So then back up, okay. And I'm going to get a little bit extra just for safe measure, but this is all going to make more sense here in a moment. Was that enough? Was that enough? Let's see. Oh, that was not enough. Nope, it was. Look. So we're about right. Yep. Didn't look quite right. Okay, so the other thing we need to do is we need to cut some little circles. So let me go ahead and just use a scrap from this. Do you think this would be okay to use? What do you think? Let's see if there's anything else over here. I didn't even think about my circles. My goodness gracious. I don't really want to get up and get any. Actually, maybe I've got some of this paper from in my scraps here that I want to kind of accentuate all the tones in there. So I'm just going to fish through here and see if something else looks like it would work better. This is actually really pretty. That is very pretty. Very pretty indeed. Yeah, so, ooh, this is very pretty though too. And that would help with our blue. I think I'm going to go with that. Okie dokie. Decisions made. So we're going to cut, we need to cut 4 total because we need 2 for each end. So do that. Okay, so the next thing is you're going to take this, and you don't have to worry about getting it all even on the bottom because we can trim it off, but I'm going to set that down and I'm going to glue, I'm going to ink around these, sorry. It is Saturday the 23rd of February. And so all morning I was working on getting my Sunday's Art of Truth up on the channel because I didn't think about it in time to really plan for it this week, on top of it being a really strange week. So I got it recorded on Thursday night, and then I got it all edited and finished up today. So it's uploading now, so it'll be on the channel in the morning. But by the time you see this, that will already have passed. So I'm going to grab this piece and just bring it over here so I've got something to work with here. And oh no, because this is just going to go directly on. Yeah, we're just basically gluing a circle onto this piece of seam binding. Oh my goodness. And again, I'll link the video that inspired this from WhichCraftDoYouDo. And again, I believe that was Anne over there, I think is her mom, if I remember correctly. So I'll link that video as well, because that was the inspiration originally, and I did link her then, and I gave her the shout out at that time. So you just want to then trim off that excess seam binding. Okay, you don't really want that peeking out, like so. Okay. And then, well, maybe yeah, and I think I did back it with the other just for stability. So I'm going to put this other blue piece on the back. And this was just, it's not needed because it's not going to show, but it's a good way to strengthen that piece. So we're just going to go ahead and do that as well. And feels a little rugged on that edge. Feels a little hairy. There we go. Does not have to be perfect. So then what you're going to do is you're going to make sure that's lined up. Be careful because this is still wet as you start pulling and stuff. So I'm going to use my white glue because it's going to grab faster than the Fabri-Tac. So let's find the middle just because I want to be a little bit more precise on the video. So I'm going to grab my zero gravity ruler, and we know that this is about 5 inches, so we just need to go 2.5. So we should be pretty good there. So I want it to be pretty much at the top. I don't want it to go into her head as much as I possibly can help that. So I'm gonna aim for that right there. Okay, so that's halfway between the two sides. So now we can go ahead and glue this on using the white glue. Oh, still got fuzzies. Look at those edges. Do we care? No, we don't care. We don't care. There we go. Okay, so now you're going to put this down on the outside of the front, and I'm aiming for that dot as best I can. And again, I'm going a little higher on this, I think, than I did on the other one, because I don't want it to affect her face or her head as much as possible. So there we go. So I'm just going to give that a chance to catch on there. Some ooze and glue. Okay. And so let's, well, there's not a whole lot else to do. We don't want to do that in until we can tuck this in. So let's go ahead and risk it. We're just going to risk it. I'm risky. I'm going to just attach that with a paper. I'm just going to stick a paper clip right there for a memento. Okay, so we can play. So now what you're going to do is you're going to take your card and you're going to open up your pocket, and you're just, and the seam binding, it doesn't matter if it's turning or crinkled or anything else, and you're just going to slide this in there. Okay, I'm going to slide it in. Okay, and it's just going to just up and down, up and down, up and down until it's all the way in. Okay. What's going on here? It might be a little bit, it's probably just twisted. Let's see if we can try to untwist it just for, you could always iron this as well. I just don't want to do that right now. So I'm going to try that again. And I'm just going to kind of guide it on the back side. Once I get this in place, then I can turn it, sorry for the angle, and see if we can keep it kind of straighter. So that's what I'm doing. Okay, and I'm just going to slide it in, keep it from turning. Uh-oh. There we go. Is that, nope, it's perfect. It's right there. Sweet. Okay. So now this is sticking up out of the back. So this is the part that we would be able to put on the bottom piece, which is this. I didn't grab any charms or anything, so we will do an eyelet. I forgot to grab my eyelet setter, but I'll put some dangles on it off camera. I'm going to try to take that paper clip off now. Obviously, you'd be probably far better to not risk it in wait until that's all dry. But you know, it's not what I do. Okay, so we don't need it to be this long. Let's see how long we had it. I had it on this one. I'm going to put my card back in the prototype and see what we had here. So we only had about that much. So we're going to go with that. So basically is all I need to do here is go ahead and decide what I want to be on the front. I think I want this one to be on the front. So I'm going to get my Fabri-Tac and I'm just going to sandwich that seam binding between these two circles at about the point that we were just looking at. Now that it's all turned up, hold on, let go, let go. I'll come back for you. Goodness gracious. A little possessive little dot. Okay, so there we go. So let's just lay that down. You could make this longer. You could make it however long you want it to be. Okay, but I'm going to put it about right here. Okay. About right there. Okay. And then we're going to turn it over. And we're going to put the other one on the back. We're going to do one more. Hopefully I can make it make sense. I'm feeling a lot better. Thank you guys for your prayers. I was sick most of the week. I did work because I can't stay home every time I'm sick, because I would never work because I'm constantly sick because of the environment that I work in. So if I don't have a fever and I don't have COVID and I can breathe, then I'm going to go to work. So let's see, that seems off. Let's try to line that up a little bit better. There we go. Okay, so that's all sticky and wet, but I'm going to go ahead and, you know, do my thing and do my impatient thing. Did I leave any hanging out? I don't think I did off of that. Nope, I did not. So let's just trim around that circle shape. Do it in pieces here. There we go. Perfecto. Okay. And I'm just gonna get a little bit of ink in there. I'm seeing some white I don't care for. A lot of glue going on. Okay. So there we go. There's our little pull. So again, when it's this way, you're just going to pull this tab and that tag is going to come out. It's just a cool interactive element. It's not anything spectacular. It's just different. So let's go ahead and put an eyelet on here. Oh my goodness gracious. What is all this that I'm seeing in the inside here? I think it's just the glue. I had a lot of oozing glue. So I'm going to grab my eyelets here. And grab a teeny tiny. Let's go ahead and make a hole in this. And I did test this. It went through the seam binding okay. So I'm just going to put a hole kind of on the end of, kind of towards this edge of the circle. Perfecto. There's that fabric. Let's try to nip that off. It's okay. And then you, just like any other time, you want to make sure that you're putting your eyelet in on the right side of your item. So I'm just going to push that through. Oh, still oozing glue. That's because I use the Fabri-Tac. Okay, we're going to go ahead and set that. Perfect. So off camera I would go ahead and add some dangles and some sari silk or seam binding to that. But let's go ahead and work on a pocket. So I picked this lace for a pocket, but I'm not really sure that I want to do that. I feel like I want some of the lace that I used on the prototype, so I'm just going to reach behind me. There we go. Yeah, and I like this lace because it's kind of see-through, so we can still see some of the stuff behind it. So I'm going to go ahead and make a pocket out of this. So I'm going to go ahead and just glue it on, and then I'll cut off the excess, but I am going to line up my scallops a little bit, like so, or try. Okay, so I'm just going to try to hold that there. Okay, put a little bit of Fabri-Tac here. Give that a press. But I thought, why waste this? Like, make a pocket out of it. Why not? Everything's sticking to me. Didn't get a good stickage there, I don't think. Yeah, maybe. Maybe I did. So I'll let that one sit for a moment. I'm going to turn this just so I can do the same thing and hold this in place so that we get a tight pocket. Okay, and then I'm just going to pull that up. Okay, I'm going to tug it just a smidge. Make sure we get it as tight as possible without making it bow. That's the balance you want. I'm going to grab a paper towel that's just sticking to my fingers. I like to just use a paper towel to go in there and just press that down. Tends to stick less to my fingers or anything, and it'll pull up a little bit easier. Let's do the same over here. Okay. And we can go ahead and trim those off. Oh, that looks splendid. Splendid. Just gonna use my scissors. I could grab the sewing scissors, but not really a need to do that. I'm gonna turn it over so I can get this angle. Boy, oh boy. Yay, yay, yay. Okay, that is awesome. Okay, so we've got a few things in here. So now I'm thinking twice, and these probably were not all three for a pocket. So I think I'll use these two for this project. So that's going to be perfect. I love it just the way it is. I do think I need to ink. I think so. The border around it is really not that even. Maybe we'll just trim it off. Just sometimes when I cut these initially, I'm not very patient. I just want to get them cut out, and I'm not very exact. So we're going to get exact here. Get rid of that white border. This is also from Ruby and Pearl. All those kits will be listed. I will do my very best to specify which ones I used in this video. But they're all linked in the Sweet Yvonne Journal playlist, so in the videos. But if ever I don't link it, please just reach out to me. I'm happy to provide it. I do my best, but sometimes I do miss stuff. So got a crummy thing again. I just changed that sponge, I thought. There we go. Crummy, crummy. Okay, so we're going to stick that in there. So beautiful. Oh, we didn't put any glue on the bottom. That won't work. We got to just put a little bit. I don't want to do a lot because I don't want to really affect the depth of the pocket as much as I can control that. So I'm just going to put a little bit of glue there and here. Nothing's going to fall out. Okay. I'm almost feeling like this is too tall. Too tall. Let's see. Let's try that again. So it does stick a little bit because you're putting it up against lace, but it's okay. I'm gonna get my metal ruler and see if I can help that along. Just loosen that up, slide that in. Okay. I do feel like that's too tall. I'm gonna trim some off, guys, just a moment. Okay, I just made it a little bit narrower and shorter, which meant I cut off those borders that we just inked. That's okay. That's okay. I'm gonna change that sponge. I must have just dreamed that I did it. Just a moment. Those little goobers of foam drive me crazy. Oh my goodness, my drawer is stuck. What is making it stick? Don't do this to me. There is no way to resolve this issue. If something's stuck in these drawers, it's a sandpaper sticking out. Goodness. Okay. There we go. Okay. We're going to slide that back in there. And I'll probably, oh, I think I do have stuff to decorate this, actually. Now that I think about it. But we'll have to be kind of strategic here because we don't want to glue anything, you know, straight on there because then the tags will get stuck. And then we'll do this one as well. I think I'll round the corners on this one. And for the second one, I think I'm just going to speed it up. If you guys want to hang around and continue watching, you certainly can. It's pretty much the same process, but I thought, you know, I have two prepared. I may as well just do both because we're already at 39 minutes because I just jabber and jabber. So that's okay. And I'll probably put some kind of pull on one of these or both of these. So we'll slide that in there like that. Okay, so let's just look at decorating the front of this. Let's take this out. So this is the tricky part though now because we've got lace in there. Lace as our pocket versus just a flat piece. But I really, really liked this. So I'm thinking about how I can use some of this, but this I also love. Take time to do what makes your soul happy. This would be super easy to use. Okay, so now, what does one do when you don't want it to go through the whole bottom of this thing? Because I really like that right there, but I'm not sure how to do that. This would also make a really cool, you know what, we're going to do that. I think we're going to make this into a little dangle right there. And we're going to leave the pocket alone because that's complicated. I had also picked these flowers, but I'm not really feeling them, so I'm not going to do that. So I wonder if we can use any of this, though, maybe along the bottom where it's been made into a pocket, but then we cover up those scallops. But how far down does our pocket go? Our pocket's to there. So we could totally put this right here. I think I would like to use that. So let's do it. Yeah, I'm gonna stop debating about it. This could go on all day and all night. Let's just go for it. Well, I guess what I could do, which would solve this whole stinking problem, put a little piece of parchment in there. Let me just set this down. not thinking very clearly. I'm just going to cut a piece of this, put it inside. I'm just going to make a mark. I want that to go on the inside. And that would solve our problem. Until it's dry, it's not going to, nothing's going to stick, so it's going to be good. So that's okay. Not quite narrow enough. Come on. Goodness gracious. Okay, let's just do that. Let's just do that. Okay, so let's get that sentiment on there. And that way I can go up a little higher, because now it took me a minute to think through that. My apologies. But I still like the idea of using this as a dangle, so that's what I'm going to do. So guys, that is it. I think I'm actually going to just do the other one off camera. I'll do a smaller one as well. I'm going to just call this good and move on with my day. So thank you guys so much for stopping by. Take care. Bye-bye.